Hey everybody, it is Radley here with your energetic weather report for the week of May 28th through June 3rd, 2023. And guess what? I am not doing this alone this week. I have got Hay House author Ari Wisner with me. Hey Ari.
Hello.
So Ari has his own tarot decks, and so we're going to do dueling tarot decks today, and both of us doing things our own way and seeing how the messages come together in some sort of beautiful poetry. And I use that term because Ari is also a poet. So some beautiful cosmic poetry for our energetic weather report this week. Now I'm using Angel Wisdom Tarot cards. What are you using, Ari?
I'm going to be using the Transient Light Tarot.
Cool. Awesome sauce. So we are doing May 28th through June 3rd. I'm going to pull 3 cards, doing it from the standpoint of basically looking at the week through those 3 cards as a whole. And done. But before, interesting. Okay. I shouldn't really say stuff like that. I used to do that in private readings where I would pull cards and I would say like, oh, wow, interesting. And people would be like, what does that mean?
I know, the panic on their faces.
Like, don't do that, Radley.
You have to be really careful what your very first words are.
And you do. And it's like, because I would do like,
Yeah.
It's like, don't do that, Radley. Don't do that. But before we get to the energetic weather report, we have, of course, got your personal archangels of the week. So if you are listening to this on mindbodyspirit.fm or you are watching it on YouTube, it doesn't matter. Either way, you are tuning in intuitively to the energy of these 4 cards. So do you feel a connection to card number 1? Card number 2? Card number 3? Or card number 4? And if one of those cards called you, Ari, you think about that and just hold that thought, okay? So the 3 cards that I have from Angel Wisdom Tarot cards, the first one is 3 of Earth. Now, in traditional tarot, this is 3 of Coins or 3 of Pentacles. And what we have here is this beautiful statue that is an angel. It is Archangel Gabriel with her copper trumpet, the archangel of creativity, of motivation, of communication. And we have this woman who is an artist, and she is chiseling currently in her studio this particular angel. It says, do what you love, recognition for the highest quality of work, especially creative endeavors, being paid well for your craft, working well with others, an excellent reputation. So right away, we have an energy starting for this week that has this sense of be creative, be creative. Allow yourself to be confident in what it is that you are bringing into the world, whether it is physical art or not, it doesn't matter. It's what do you feel like that you are bringing to the world? Ari and I are actually doing an entire session of the Angel Tarot Show later this week. And one of the things we talked about was how important it is to be authentic with your creative work and that it really, really matters. So this is the first thing that we're thinking about this week. The second card is 6 of Air in traditional tarot. This is 6 of Swords. And so we have this family that is in a boat. Now, the boat at the front of it has a swan, indicating this whole energy of things have been a little rough. You can see the background sky where they are coming from, where there's a dark sky, but we're heading into clearer waters. Things are going to start to get better. And it says the end of challenging times, things are looking up, a welcome relief, finding your way to a peaceful place, the end of depression or an illness, travel or relocation. Now, how does this go together with our first card? It's the fact that if you are in this space where you are authentically creating the world that you want, guess what happens? Life gets better. You start to come out of the cloud, you start to come out of the fog, and you start to come out of your perceived darkness of life and start to be able to realize that maybe things are going to be so much better now because I'm being authentic and I'm doing what I really should be doing. The final card for this week is Ace of Air, which translates in traditional tarot to Ace of Swords. Now, here what we have is, if you are familiar with traditional tarot, where this card is usually a card as a sword going through a crown, we have that, but it's been sort of, if you will, King Arthurized. We have this young man and he has a sword and it is through a crown into the stone. It's pretty cold outside, it's snowing, and he has a butterfly on his shoulder. And this butterfly represents the evolution that is about to come into his life if he pulls that sword out of the stone. Now, we know he'll be able to do it. Brilliant ideas that may need refinement, overcoming obstacles with faith that everything will work out, communicating clearly and concisely, and remaining objectively. We have the ability to bring our Excalibur to bear. We have the ability to pull it out and reign supreme over our own lives. It might be a tad difficult up front, but you are on the right path for doing that. It might feel cold and snowy, but you know what? Winter ends, and eventually the springtime will come, and you'll have that sword and you'll have that crown. Just stay authentic. That's my reading for the week. What do you got, Ari?
I love that, Madly. Thank you so much. My first card was also a Queen or Pentacle. So I started off with the Keeper of Pentacles.
Okay.
This is the equivalent of the Queen of Pentacles. Now, with this card, I instantly got this feeling of like coming back to basics. And can you see in the back here, there's the rings of the inside a tree. It's like rested in the center of the tree. And there's a key. So you've got the coin and the pentacle, and then you've got this key. So there's this real unlocking and like being able to hold and manage your physical existence. So there's this lovely kickoff with the 3 cards of coming back to center in a very grounded and very earthy, physical way. And what I love is the very next card is like the opposite end of the spectrum. So you have your earth here and your body, and on the opposite, you have the wands. And this is the realm of spirit. And so I got the Champion of Wands. And this shows a bird rising up from the earth, flying with this wand grasped in its claws, and it is completely passion driven. It's driven by a sense of passion, a sense of purpose, and it really is going after its pursuit, the things that it wants to achieve, the things it wants to create. A lot of creative energy, which I feel like is reflected in your cards too.
Absolutely.
And what I love about this is it really is a journey from the earth to the spirit. And how I like to visualize that is I think of like our physical existence here, the spiritual existence here, and the channel is kind of managed by the scales of the heart and mind. And so I think that it's a lovely kind of channeling here of, if you can get the grounding right, if you can come back to center and you can make that time and space, then you're going to be able to expand and you're going to be able to rise up and fly and just go and pursue the things. And what I got for the third card is the 8 of Wands. And I feel like this kind of is that kind of merge. Maybe this should come between. I like to reorder my cards all the time. I feel like this is maybe the in-between card. I feel like that's maybe the in-between card. And this card depicts 8 wands, all in alignment. There's this lovely unity. They're all going in one direction and they're all flying directly upwards, well, in an upward angle. And what I love about that is I do feel like that's an in-between card of being able to get your foundations nice and straight, and then being able to make that bigger journey, that bigger achievement, that bigger goal that you have, that creative journey, and being able to do that in a very unified way, traveling from the source, traveling from the ground up, as it were. And I find, like, personally, I find this like really beautiful as well. I think it can sometimes be when you're pursuing something spiritual, like a spiritual journey, or you're pursuing a creative pursuit or a pursuit of your passion, it's so easy to sort of neglect the earthy, practical side. I think sometimes we can think of the earthy things as less than, and really there's an elevation here. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. It's really elevating the importance of the down to earth, the transient, the physical, the practical, the roots, which is always important to return to, because that channel that I mentioned earlier, you know, with the spirit at the spirit on one end, the earth on the other end, and that balance and scales of the heart and mind in the middle, that is a two-way street forever, you know, learning from the bottom up and the top bottom. So yeah, that's my 3 cards.
I think those two go together very well. I think we're both talking about creativity. We're both talking about where we're headed, and we're both talking about the opportunity that is the future. So I think that works out well. So let's talk about those 4 cards for the Archangel of the week. Did you have a card that called to you? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I did 3.
Okay. I love that. Okay, so card number 1, see, I'm doing it again. Card number 1, for those of you who are called to card number 1, is Archangel Metatron. So Metatron is this archangel that has the ability to keep us grounded, to keep us focused, to let us feel safe, particularly if we are a very sensitive person. Never forget how important Metatron is for time warping. You got a deadline? Gee, who has a deadline? Me. And you're feeling like you're behind on it? Who feels behind? Me. Metatron can really help you to warp time, to give you more time to finish something. And the next card that we have is number 2, is Zadkiel. Archangel Zadkiel is the archangel of memory, but also the archangel of forgiveness. So if we're trying to do some work in the forgiveness arena for self or for others, Zadkiel is your dude. Card number 3, that's Ari's card, is Archangel Raziel. Now, I love this in particular of an aspect for our conversation that we are going to have later this week. But Raziel is the archangel of magic. He is said to be the archangel that sits at the throne of God and writes down all the secrets. He's also the archangel who comes in the color that is a rainbow. He is the prism, right? So, and finally, we have Archangel Sandalphon, an archangel that I'm particularly fond of because he is the archangel of prayer, but also the archangel of music. But he is the archangel that is said to have his feet on the ground and his head in heaven. And he takes our prayers and he weaves them together into this beautiful wreath, lays them at the foot of the divine, and therefore allows for those prayers all to be answered, the messages to come back down and relayed to us in a way in which we can understand and notice. So that's our energetic weather report for the week of May 28th through June 3rd. Hey, Ari, thanks so much for playing with me.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that.
You can find Ari at www.ariwisner.com, ariwisner.com. Okay, guys, see you again next week.